Hi, my name's Simon. Together with my wife Kathy and our two dogs, Coco and Wally, we continuously cruise the canals and rivers of the UK. This next video is a continuation of our trip from Sykehouse Bridge to Goole, but this intro clip was filmed a couple of days later because the sun is shining beautifully. Enjoy. On the right hand side is a section that has been repaired fairly recently. It was patched for a long time because there was a breach here. Now, a canal of this size, you can imagine the volume of water that would have leaked through into the fields would have been humongous. I believe the canal was closed for quite a period of time while repairs took place. What has to be done when this occurs is they put up temporary dams on either side of the breach or a narrow section. It's possible that the bridge that we went through just previously would have been a narrow point. They would have put what they call stop planks in there, and round the corner we're coming to, there's also a narrowing section. They may have put drop planks in there, but it's always a major problem. There's been a very large breach on the Llangollen Canal up in Wales, and that one, boats were actually moored where the breach occurred. So there were some boats got sucked down into the hole created by the breach, and I believe one has been now written off. Two of them are all in good nick. Scary time, especially when you're full-time liveaboards like we are. Suddenly your home becomes non-livable. So this was repaired. The final repairs done to this section were only done last year, but it will also create a very nice spot to moor, because you can use your chains around the channel that's fixed on the top of the steelwork. It's an ideal type of mooring. Certainly bollards, Armco, this type of mooring Armco are preferable to using pins. Now, I think it's Thursday this week. We have a forecast of winds gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour. Where we're going to be moored, we'll probably will be on pins, but then we'll double pin and ensure that the ground is firm enough to hold the boat. We've been through quite a few storms in the last 5 years, sometimes on pins, and touch wood, never had a problem. But boats do get blown off pins. So yeah, Armco, bollards, top of the wish list. Another problem that can occur with pins, of course, is humans. They will come along and they'll pull your pins out. You find it hilarious. And if it's not attached to the ropes, they just chuck them in the canal, and your boat drifts off. Now, if you're on a river, it can be extremely dangerous. On a canal, not so much, because there's very little flow on a canal, but if it's windy, it can certainly blow you off. If you're not on the boat at the time, yeah, then you've got an issue of how you get back on the boat if it's blown away from the live side of the canal, the towpath side. But yeah, sadly there are people who do find it amusing to let your house go free. On the rivers, there's been occasions when boats have blown off pins or have floated off pins, that go over weirs, get trapped under bridges, in fast flowing water. So caution is something you need to do when you're mooring up. But you've got substantial rope at the front, substantial rope at the back. Depending on which wind, which direction the wind's coming from. Side offshore is probably the worst, where it's blowing you away with the biggest area into wind. But if it's blowing you against the shore or from the stern or bow, not too much to worry about. On these wider canals, surprise, you actually get waves. You can actually feel the boat bobbing a bit and sloshing around. Our one dog Wally does not like it. He's definitely a fair weather sailor. As I say, you can find waves, probably 200mm waves, 300 maybe. In a flat bottom boat that's not really designed for anything more than a ripple, it sloshes you around a bit. Once we go under this bridge, we start the long straight road. Sorry, canal, not a road. Bridge 71, it has a very original name. It's the New Bridge. New being a relative term. So this canal been in operation since the 1700s. Not sure this bridge was built then, but you never know. I won't film too much of this section, so it's so straight and boring. Something else that becomes more and more prevalent in this area is seagulls. And we are probably only 20-30 k's from the sea. 100% sure. We'll have to have a look on a map. But they are around. On the left here is a chimney. I would assume was some old furnace or boiler house. It's a farm currently. Sometimes there's emus on it. A couple of boats. Maybe it's a kiln for brickwork. I have tried to look up some of the history, but have as yet to find any details on it. Here the canal gets wider again, but it's only for a short stretch. It then narrows down when it goes under the motorway bridge ahead. Here we're coming up to the M18 road bridge. Here it narrows down a little bit. Quite often on the right hand side there's a lot of sheep who sort of take shelter under the bridge. Not sure if it'll be like that today with all this mist. Certainly a faster way of life on that road. We're probably currently doing maybe 4 k's an hour, if that. Wally just getting his tea and biscuits. Yeah, this is the ideal speed for charging our batteries, moving the boat, and having the best economy on the diesel. 2 reasons obviously for economy of diesel is 1, costs money, and 2, you don't want to have to go and fill your tank up too often. It's to locate a source of diesel and travel to it. No, we normally fill up about every 4 to 6 weeks. I have a 160 litre tank. In winter we try and not drop below half a tank, otherwise you tend to get condensation build up in the tank. I'm now going to have some tea and biscuits. Got my chocolate orange digestives and Tim Tams from the land of Australia. Right, now I've finished the tea and biscuits. Wally wasn't happy because they're both chocolate biscuits, so he doesn't get any. Definitely believes he should be involved with all human activities, specifically food related. There's definitely a section of the canal that would be nice if the boat had autopilot. Just bumble along. Down the left-hand side of the canal here, it's quite a popular spot for moorings because there is space to park a car if you own one, and there's access to the road. We haven't owned a car in the 5 years we've lived aboard our boat. On the occasion that we may have needed a car, we've hired one or borrowed one from the kids, or we just use the train and buses. They work pretty well in this country. There have been occasions when it would be nice to have a car, but normally that's when it's cold, wet and windy and you're walking to the station or walking to catch a bus and have to stand on the side of the road. But quite honestly, we do all our shopping with a granny trolley, or occasionally, and it's been very occasionally, we get it delivered by the supermarkets themselves. Coal we have delivered to the boat. So diesel we have to go to marinas to fill up, which are similar to the garages, I suppose, in the towns. And haven't really found a car a necessity because we don't work. most of our trips are not time related, although obviously if we have a doctor's appointment or something we have to meet up at a certain time, but other than that we just wander around. Light shopping we do with a backpack, the heavier stuff we pull a granny trolley. Some places the shops are literally right on the canal, others it's a few kilometers. But we do have the storage space and a freezer facility to be able to stock up on most foods for a couple of weeks. So generally our shopping is consumables, bread, milk, vegetables, ice cream, etc. The important things in life. Ahead of us you might be able to see another bridge. This is Rawcliffe Bridge, which feeds across to Rawcliffe, which is on the left hand side. There is a pub on the right. There is a marina, a CRT marina to the one side. Travelling around like we do, recognise a lot of boats. See them quite regularly as they move around the network. It's like the navigators being a bit cold. Lay down. Do you want another hot water bottle? Yeah, probably. So, call the missus. It's quite simple. A couple of bangs on the side of the boat. Her and Coco sit inside, nice and warm, in front of the fire. Normally making some nice food. Can't smell anything at the moment. But, time will tell. Here they come. I think Wally needs another hot water bottle. Another hot water bottle. So here is a good mix of boats moored up. Commercials, leisure, converted commercials, now leisure. There's actually public moorings on the right hand side, but don't use them very much because the height's not nice for the fenders, so you tend to get banged around a bit. Just gone past, looks like a work in progress. It's got windows missing and generally looking a bit tired. Why don't you lay down, bozo? Nice boats in here. I suppose you can have boat envy. Quite happy with the one we got, but yeah, one day, one of a big boy. And again, in the summer, you see a lot of these boats out on the network. right is a converted coal boat. Creates quite a big living space. Just not sure, even though a lot of them have got hatches in the roof to let in light, how much light is actually in there. Now we start the last of the long dead straight section into Goole. Probably 45 minutes before we start coming into Goole itself. So it's straight as a die. Thank you for joining us on our adventures. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Till next time, be safe.